And
In 1924, Toastmasters was established in California by Ralph Smedley. We learned in moments of enjoyment, he said. Today, Toastmasters International, a worldwide non-profit organization, has more than 16,000 clubs all over the world. The mission is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Roseburg Speakers and Storytellers was established in Oregon in 2005. Our members are from all over the world, and our meetings is on Mondays at 7 a.m. Oregon time and with the same Zoom link. Guests are always welcome. Mute your microphones during meeting unless you're going to speak, and leave your camera on to see your beautiful faces. Role takers, please identify your role in front of your name. Speakers, remember to pin video our timer and be aware of the speaking time allocation. Our club is a place where no one stands alone during hard times. When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. And now I want to hand over the control to... It's the eye of the tiger, it's the thrill of this team rising up to the challenge of our meeting. And the last known survivor fills our meetings with joy, and he's watching us all with the eye of the tiger.
Ladies and gentlemen, our world famous SAA once again gets us off to a wonderful start. It's so nice to see all your smiling faces. It's always nice to have our guest here. We have a guest speaker, very excited about that. And our theme for today, we are what we think. I read a book a little over a year ago by Mike Dooley. The theme of the book was thoughts become things. And it has changed my life because as you think, as you are. And without any further ado, I'm going to turn this over to our esteemed Toastmaster today, also our VPE IU. The virtual podium is all yours. Take it away.
thank you, Mr. President. Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome again to another fun learning experience with Roseburg Speaker and Storytellers. I will show of my beautiful face after this, but before that, I would like to say that's our theme over there. In my screen, we are what we think we are. Why I choose this? Because this is very important. This sentence been with me like forever now, since I was maybe in my 20s, because we are shaped by our thoughts. And as usual, as every Toastmaster meeting around the world, always have 3 sessions. Prepare speech session, table topic session, and evaluation session. So without no further ado, let's get started by having our team together and listen what they will do for us. First is our grammarian, Michelle Albalin.
Thank you. And in keeping with our theme of you are what you think, our word of the day is perceive. Perceive means to attain awareness or understanding of something or to regard as being such. For example, if we perceive ourselves as timid, then we feel timid. Or if we perceive ourselves as a tiger, then we feel very strong and very brave. So during the meeting, whenever you have an opportunity to speak, use the word perceive or the noun perception. Either of the two will be fine. Back to you, Ayu.
Thank you, Madam Grammarian of the Day. Now let's move on to the next one, our counter. Amy, please, Amy, can you please introduce your role?
Thank you, Ayu. My role is to ensure that little ahs and ums don't slip into our speeches when we are talking on the screen. Being a person who has already received the title of a Queen Queen with the amount of filler words that I use, I can fully vouch to how important it is to have someone there to gently remind you when you are using these repetitive filler words. So I'll be counting all of that and I will report back in at the end of the meeting. Thank you, Ayu.
Thank you, Amy. Now let's move on to our next functionary of the meeting, Silpa, as our timer.
Thank you, Ayu. As per the theme, we are what we are. We are what we think we are. Same goes with the time. If we have our time management in order, we are perceived to be disciplined people, especially as Toastmasters. I will time your speeches today, beginning with the prepared speeches section. Green will be at 5 minutes, then yellow followed by 6, and at 7 minutes, I'll remind you that its time is up with a red color. Going about for the next session, the table topics, we will have green at 1, then followed by yellow at 1:30, and red means time to stop at 2. For the evaluations part of the meeting, again, the 3 colors would come up. Now this time, green would be at 2 minutes. The warning comes with a yellow at 2:30 and time to stop at 3 minutes with the red. That's all from me, Ayu. Back to you.
Silpa, thank you for that. The thing is, why I cannot divide, to see your green and your yellow? It's a little bit the same. So I would like to ask you one more thing. When it's green, can you type also in the chat box? It's green, yellow, and red. So
sure,
everybody
we'll
can see. Thank you, Silpa. Next, we will have a very long speech today. That's why and very exciting one. So that's why we go quick to the prepared speech now, because we really want to hear what they will say. First is Robin. Robin, are you ready?
Yeah, am I edible? I mean, not edible, audible, sorry.
Okay, then now I will introduce Robin first. So, fellow Toastmasters, ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, Robin Chan. He will be delivering his second pathway on visionary communication, level 1, project 2, second speech on evaluation and feedback. I think he already sent the focus area of evaluation to RAM as the evaluator. So please let us welcome Robin Chan with feeling like a piece of blah, blah, blah. Feeling like a piece of blah, 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 Robin Chan.
Are you guessing of that next word? Well, you are wrong. Mr. President, fellow Toastmasters, and dear guests, Have you ever felt like a piece of crap? No, not that crap. I meant that crab. Well, there was a time in my life where I didn't know what to do anymore. I was helpless. I wasn't growing, and I felt stuck. That's where I felt like a piece of crap. You see, a crab has an hard outer shell known as the exoskeleton. After some time, a crab feels stuck as it needs to grow out of it. And just like the crab that needs to let go of its outer shell, so it just came about just like mine. I needed to let go of something and decided to go back to Mauritius after living in Malaysia for a decade. I had to let go of my past and start over a new life again. Although it felt like home, but I was alone. And I had to, instead of feeling all by myself alone, I decided to apply for jobs online. But guess what? No reply. Luckily, I got a phone call from a guy who gave me an interview, but it was in French. This is how it went. Bonjour, parlez-moi plus de vous. I was like, je. I didn't know what to say. All the word that came into my mind was in English, and I had to translate into French, but no words uttered out of my mouth. In the end, the interview was horrible. I felt stripped naked in front of the interviewer. I felt that my weakness were exposed and I felt vulnerable. And you see, a crab also feels vulnerable after growing out of its shell. It has to grow. It has to go through this process called molting, where it strips off its outer shell and reveals its soft and paper-like shell beneath. By doing so, it feels totally exposed to all the predators in the ocean. And that's where I felt like a piece of crap. Feeling the same in front of all the big sharks out there, looking at them felt intimidating, waiting for the day to come to be eaten alive. Until I realized that I wasn't alone. Last year, I came in contact with a bunch of crabs, and those crabs are known as Toastmasters. When I met them for the first time, I felt intimidated by all the great speakers out there. I started questioning myself. Should I join them or not? A great dilemma it was. Are they predators too? Perplexed I was. But when I came to when I came closer to them, I began to realize that they were just like me. Some were big, some were small, but they all came together, making sure that you are in a safe space. You see, a crab may feel stuck and feel vulnerable. But did you know that during the molting process, it doesn't go alone? It goes with an army of crabs. They all meet in a place where they feel exposed to all the predators. But when they stick together, oh my gosh, the place of insecurity becomes a place of safety. And in this place of safety is where I found my serenity. With time, I grew and became more confident and strong, just like the crab. And during the pandemic, the ocean are not affected by the COVID-19. Hence, I get to travel across the seas to meet other crabs like me. And you will see some of the crabs were the king crabs, the DTMs. Some were the snow crabs, the seasoned Toastmasters. And those crabs, the baby crabs, just like me, the normal Toastmasters. Fellow Toastmasters and dear guests, you may feel stuck in your life or even feel vulnerable at some point of time. But that's okay. Let me tell you that that's okay to feel that way. At the beginning, looking at this title, what were you thinking? Were you thinking of this? Well, if you're feeling like a piece of crap, all you need to know is to be that piece of crap. Over to you.
Okay, Robin. This crab will want to say something. That is actually fantastic. Thank you for delivering your speech here. Next is our esteemed Yasmin, who will be the next speaker today. And she will be referring her project from 15 to 20 minutes. It is level 4 elective on question and answer. Yasmin with motivation and determination. Her evaluator will be Vicky. So motivation versus determination, Yasmin Telwala.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ma'am Toastmaster. Dear fellow Toastmasters guests, I guess you all know it by now, this is not the normal speech. I would not like to call it speech. It's called questions and answers session. But I would not even like to call it questions and answers session. This is an interactive session. So I note the time. For the next 15 minutes, we are all going to be just interacting. You all are encouraged to please raise your hand because I'll keep the view as the panel view, sort of, gallery view, so that I can look as to who wants to make an interruption. It could be a question, it could be a comment, it could be a suggestion. And I would meanwhile share the screen, switching between the screens, one's screen, one's gallery view. So I guess with all this, we are all ready to go. And here I'm going to be sharing my screen, looking forward for this very interactive session. I hope you all can see my screen. Yes? Okay, cool. So the title stands as Motivation versus Determination. Just with that, I saw here. Motivation versus determination. How many of you think they are same? Maybe a show of hand, please. Okay, we have Tiger who think they are the same. Tiger, the floor is yours. Why do you think motivation and determination stand same?
Well, in my opinion, maybe they're not the same, but they work together. They're intermingled, because without motivation, there's nothing to be determined to do. And without determination, there is no motivation. Thank you, Yasmin.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Tiger. So Tiger is throwing up the idea that motivation and determination are separate, but they have to go hand in hand. Is there a speaker or an audience who would like to really differentiate between motivation and determination? Anyone who is going to take up the floor to say how they are different? Here you go, Nizar. What's, in your opinion, motivation and determination?
In my personal opinion, motivation is like an internal feeling that make us want to do something. It's like the fuel that wants us to do something. And when we do it, when we are motivated, we feel high because we are motivated. But in my personal opinion, determination, it's making it done. Either we are motivated or not. It's like continue the lesson or the race till the end. And sometimes we are not motivated, or maybe we don't feel like we want to do it, but we are determined to make it till the end. This is my personal opinion.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Nizar. I agree with you in totality, and I believe there are other audience in the room who agree that motivation is something which gets us started, but it's determination which keeps us going. So motivation is the starting point, but it's the internal drive, the determination which keeps us going. But maybe I come back to what Tiger said, that sometimes the motivation is inner. There is an inner drive. So motivation could be internal, it could be external. Let's explore it a little bit as to what literature says. Here I'm going to bring back the screen. Here is what stays as motivation and determination. So motivation could be a force, an influence which sorts of set us to do something. But determination is something which is going to make us continue doing it in spite of all the difficulties. So we can have a motivational video to keep us inspired, but it's our determination which is going to let us go there. So motivation is creating the condition or the eagerness for us to act or work. But the act of officially deciding and staying upon it is our determination. I hope the audience is with me till here. Any experience to share? Anyone would like to share an experience of how the determination and motivation reflects in their life? I invite you all. Let's make it as interactive as possible.
Yasmin?
Yes, Michelle, please.
I'm listening to you, and I agree with both Tiger and Nisar, and of course your summation there. An example would be, I perceive myself as being highly motivated to help other people. That's my perception, and I am motivated to help other people. But sometimes I lose the determination when I get so busy, and then I'm thinking, oh, somebody else will have to do it. So, you know, there's motivation, the desire to help, but the determination, actually putting time aside and energy, that's determination. Back to you, Yasmin.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Michelle. And you raised a very important point, that there is a possibility that at some point we start realizing that we are losing our motivation factor or the determination factor. So there brings in, like, what is going to keep us going? How do we keep on cultivating this motivation or inspiration? I'm going to bring back you again to my next slide, just to see how all this theory actually evolved. So historically, it was considered that motivation, which is for a longer behavior, was perceived as an external factor, like a sort of reward, a punishment, environmental reinforcements. These external factors were thought to be, deciding for the motivation. But then took a turn because we realized that it's not only the external, but our internal environments, our internal drives, which are going to keep us going. Now, that's where we think about intrinsic motivation or internalization of the motivation. And came the theory, the self-determination theory. This is the most widely researched and applied theories in the field of psychology by Richard Rand and Edward Deci, 2017. So when we speak, we are in 2020. So it's a very recent phenomena, but this is now being discussed as to what is the spectrum of motivation. Here you go. It is the balance between external motivation, extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. To begin with, a motivation. For example, I don't care, I don't understand, I don't have the skills to do it. You are simply in the wrong room. You are not motivated to do it enough. That's the external factor. Then external factor actually comes in. So from a motivation, you get into external regulation, where you need carrot and sticks. You need compliance mechanism. Do this, you'll receive a reward. You'll receive otherwise a punishment. That's how external regulation works. Then is the introjection, the introjected motivation. For example, if you make it a little bit intrinsic, you involve an ego, you involve approval from others. An example could be the employee of the month, where you know that your photo will be hanged. So it's an ego satisfaction with a reward. So it's introjected. Then comes identified regulation, where there is self-endorsement of goals. For example, I don't like maths, but I know to be a pilot, I need to learn maths. So this is an identified regulation, which is a balance more towards intrinsic drive, intrinsic motivation, sort of, identified with external. Then is the integration, the integrated and regulated motivation, where the goals are aligned or in congruence. For example, I study because I'm a good student. A good student is being integrated in me, which is motivating me to study. But then the highest level of intrinsic motivation, which is inner drive, our drive to do something, our interest, our enjoyment that keeps us going. For example, I study because I enjoy it. Now, what is going to keep us going? It's the goals. It's the drive. How are we going to maintain this drive? We have to set goals. It is this goal which is going to make us transfer from motivation to determination. Now, these goals could be short-term goals, could be medium-term, could be long-term goals. But the rule of the magic is we have to seize the day. You put everything in a bigger perspective and you divide it into small milestones, small outputs, and you work towards that goal. So it's your determination which will keep you going, but it's these goals which will drive or culminate your determination. At this point of time, I would like to ask if anyone has any question or clarity. Anything from the floor? Okay, maybe I must ask you something. Are you all thinking that so long the employers or the working arrangements have been running wrong from the science? Because science says that it is the internal drive which would keep us going. But all our working structure, the organizations, they're still working on motivation, the external drive, rewards, punishments, presence. How is it? How are we going to change the working environment? How is it that still the organizations are not picking up on the science? Any comment from the floor? Okay, maybe just to give more into this perspective, I'll bring you another example. I want to show you how we can actually cultivate this intrinsic motivation and how are there real examples where organizations are actually focusing now on cultivating intrinsic motivation. To keep anyone motivated internally, we need to focus on three perspectives: autonomy, mastery, and the purpose. It has to be self-directed. You need to give the people, the employee, the autonomy over it. Or even if it is ourselves, we need to take the lead, the self-direction. Once that's said, we know that we need to work towards this. We need to acquire our mastery. We need to have performance. Perhaps we need to acquire better skills. And what is it we are all contributing it towards? There has to be a purpose. There has to be a meaning. And there has to be a bigger contribution towards it to make it go. I would like to share with you a very simple example. Do you know about Google 20? Like Google these days have 20% allocation of staff timing where they can do anything, everything they want. So this gives them their autonomy, what they want to do. It sort of, enhances the creativity, the enjoyment, improving the skills of the employee. And towards end, they are contributing to the bigger goal. They set a bigger goal. And it could be a social norm. It could be like, being a social reward, a recognition. And this is which actually keeps us going. I would like to end here on the note that let's work together to actually cultivate our inner drive and go from motivation, which is shorter, to determination, and keep this inner drive in us. I know we are all here in the series of Toastmasters because we feel the autonomousty of it. We know we are improving our skills, and we know that we are working towards a bigger and a common goal of helping each other, improving our own skills. Thank you, and with this, I hand it back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Yasmin, since your time is still there, would you like to let Silpa say something as she raised her hand?
Oh, sure. That's absolutely wonderful. Thank you, Shilpa. I didn't realize you have raised your hands.
No problem, Yasmin. I was engrossed by the information you were giving us. Can you explain me how does discipline plays a role in this equilibrium, in forming this equilibrium?
Indeed, a very good question. Because there comes the perspective of the goal. If you have set a goal and you know you have to achieve that, the first thing that will come in place is discipline. We need to discipline ourselves. And once there will be a drive to do that, it will come. For example, I give you an example of perhaps an athlete. We might, I'm sure you also might be motivated by marathon runners around. We know so many people who have done, taken themselves to the limit, and we are really motivated. We are like, they are our sort of inspiration. We can join forces with them. We can have them as our mentor, but then to be able to reach there, to be able to have set our own marathon or achieve that goal, it's the discipline, it's the time management which is going to work. So when we talk about seizing the day, we know that we have to seize the day by actually dividing it into the slots and properly identifying where is it that our interest goes. And trust me, that's why it's this intrinsic drive, this intrinsic motivation, which plays a key role, because once that will be there, you will find the time for it and you will be disciplined. So let this feeling inculcate, but a very important and relevant point. Thank you for bringing it up, Shilpa.
Well said, Yasmin. Thank you.
I see Tiger raising their hand if time permits.
Yasmin, briefly, can you give us an example in your life where this is played out, where you had external motivation and it became intrinsic?
Well, I would really bring up this example of Toastmasters ourselves, because this is perhaps something we all can relate with. We were always motivated, as the previous speaker said. He was always motivated, and we all shared common stories in some way or the other by other speakers. And we knew our weakness in a way. But there was this continuity, this drive in us, this crave for learning, where we were looking for space where we can express ourselves and come together. And this platform, what is the beauty of this platform? Why we feel so comfortable with this platform? Because it is working on the theory of cultivating our internal or intrinsic motivation, that is autonomy. It gives us the freedom to choose the pathway we want to develop, the skill we want to develop. Second, it is about bettering your skills. So every day, every Monday we are inculcating our skills. And thirdly, towards a bigger goal. So we know the bigger goal. The bigger goal, we have decided ourselves in our first autonomous part, what we want to do. Do we want to be good speaker? Do we want to be good leader? And this is the same experience I share in my life. And I believe it in larger context. Tiger, when you ask this question, and all my colleagues here, they would agree that we are towards this common goal, which keeps us motivated. If time permits, I would like to bring the example Amanda shared one day of the corporate clubs. It's the same clubs, it's the same platform of Toastmasters, but still you can feel the difference, you know, because once it is seen, it is not internal drive. At the moment it is seen as an external factor. For example, if a company is having Toastmaster clubs and employees are sort of forced to do that, it's an external factor. Then they will repel. Unlike us who are sort of enjoying, we are all here because we are internally driven with it. So this internal drive is the factor which I call as determination. And I encourage you all to inculcate determination versus motivation. Thank you. And I guess I have to return it to the Toastmaster of the day in favor of the time. Thank you. Back to you, Ayu.
What a wonderful one. My motivation, probably public speaking, probably leadership here in Toastmaster, but my determination is the king crab. Become one of the king crabs. Well, now let's move on to the next session, which will be led by our lovely Amanda.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day. And we are now in the topic session. And for our topic session today, I would like us to talk about our perceptions of smells or aromas. And scents have a legendary ability to unearth emotional responses, emotional memories. And I'd like everyone that I call on today to share a story of a memory that's aroused by the smell that I'm going to give you. So our first topic speaker today will be talking about what cinnamon and other spices arouses in them. Federico, would you like to take that topic, please? Is Federico there?
Yes, I'm more or less with some things because let's say if I'm kind of visible. Okay, in my case, cinnamon and roses reminds me to my mother because she, let's say, how to say it, overenjoyed cinnamon. She added to absolutely everything you can imagine in your life. Coffee, bananas, water, candles, anything that comes to your mind. And sometimes when we were coming back on Friday, our house, instead of being full of roses or, let's say, interesting smells, it was full of cinnamon. So we were like a little bit like with my dad is, okay, my mom has bought again the new candles from cinnamon. And since she was a soldier, we could not be exactly say to my mom, well, mom, you know, we don't like this cinnamon, or your nice obsession with it. No, when your mom is a soldier, she literally will come with a bell. Yeah, I know that in Europe and in other parts of the world, the bells are not as popular as in our country, but in our country they are. And the flip-flops are nice too when you don't do what your mom says. So we will just, with my dad, say, nothing is happening. And sometimes my mom used to even exaggerate when she was making some cakes. And she added even the cinnamon to the cakes. And to absolutely everything. Sometimes you find the water, as I said, and you cannot imagine. Even in my room, I could find the cinnamon in my bed sheet, everywhere, because my mom thought it was the greatest smell ever. After my mom died 11 years ago, the cinnamon really disappeared from my house and no one has ever bought it again. Because let's say we had enough cinnamon for the rest of our lives.
Thank you very much indeed, Federico. I hate the smell of cinnamon, so I sympathize with you for all those years you had it. Our second smell tonight is one I really love, and that's freshly mown grass. The smell of grass that's just been mown. And I'm going to ask one of our guests, Marina, please, would you tell us about freshly mown grass?
Freshly, can you repeat? Freshly.
Yes, that's
what?
Freshly mown grass. When we cut our grass in the garden, there is a very strong smell of the grass.
Well, very fresh grass arouses me about my holiday last year when I had the chance to come again to my hometown. It's very far from where I live right now. It's East Timor. It was like middle or east to the island Bali. After 10 years not going back to my hometown, I stay in my grandma's house, and she had a very large backyard behind her house, very beautiful grass, and she also had some pigs and then some cow and a lot of chicken. And every morning she likes to feed them and clean her backyard with that green grass. So that smell always remind me of my grandmother who lived in my hometown. We only met like 5 or 6 times until now. So yeah, because I live in a big town in here in Surabaya, it's difficult to find that kind of backyard and big grass view. So it always reminds me of my grandmother. And she is 85 years old.
Wow.
And she's still healthy and always take care of Yeah, her animal like that. Back to you, Amanda.
Thank you, Marina. That's a very strong memory if you haven't seen her that many times. Thank you. Our third smell today is coffee. I love the smell of coffee. I don't drink it, but I love the smell of it. Rebecca, can you tell us what that memory means to you?
Coffee. Okay. I love coffee. I now that I'm thinking of it, what is it in coffee do I really like? Number one is the aroma. I like the rich, bold, and the earthy smell of it. But let me go back. I was not really a coffee drinker. I love, um, growing up, I would drink instant coffee when I was younger. And I could, would only have a cup, but it was only in the latter years that I learned a lot about it. There was one time when, my girlfriends and I would meet, and then they would say, come on, let's have coffee. And then one of my girlfriends who was a coffee drinker, really, really liked it black and with nothing in it. She said that she was gonna quit drinking coffee. I said, oh, how can you, how can you quit? It's so good. Well, I said, and she asked me, why don't you join me? So I said, okay, I'll join you. I'll try and quit. And I said, well, I can do that. Well, guess what? When I started that very first day that I stopped drinking coffee, I got a most miserable headache, the worst headache ever. And I thought it was stress. I didn't relate it to caffeine. It was only later on that I realized. I said, I went 2 days without it and I still had it. I could not function. Nobody at work wanted to talk to me because I was so bitchy. And I said, I didn't know what it was. And then one of my cousins told me, it's the coffee. You have to go back and drink it. And I said, no, but I want to quit. And then it says, read more on it. So when I read more on it, I found out that it has medicinal qualities in it. So I said, either I suffer with my migraine or stick with a coffee to make everybody happy and to make me happy. So I have stuck with my coffee and I love it. I don't like flavored coffee. I just like simple coffee. Now, what's in your cup today? Caffeine.
Thank you, Rebecca. Explained so beautifully there. Our fourth topic today is the smell of bread baking. Who doesn't love the smell of bread baking? And I'm going to ask Melva, do you love the smell? What memories does it bring back for you?
Yeah, well, thanks for your question, Amanda. Sorry for no video, no picture, because I had bad connection.
That's fine.
Do you hear me?
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Well, I like the smell of bread fresh the oven. Oh my God, I can. It made me hungry, full hungry. Even I already eat, I keep eating. I want to taste it. It smells so good. At the time, I have no intention or desire to buy bread, but I paste the store of bread, and I smell it's far. I think it's far distance, and I smell the the good smell. It's like mocha or mix something. I don't know. Wow, the good smell. Oh my God, I want to taste it. And yeah, I taste it too much, and I really do love bread fresh oven. We call it fresh the oven. Fresh from the oven. I love it. The aroma is so nice. And I think you do the same, I think. Because yeah, I don't know, because the aroma make us interested. Even we have no desire to buy it. Really, I love the smell, especially mocha. I really do love it. Thanks. Back to you, Amanda.
Thank you, Melva. Yes. Now I'm going to ask our Toastmaster of the day. Do we have time for one more, or is that it? I know we've come to 3:50.
That's it.
No
That's
more.
it, Amanda. Thank you very
No
much.
more. I'm terribly
No more,
sorry.
please.
I'm terribly sorry to the rest of you. I had a few more topics, but less is more sometimes. And I hand you back to our Toastmaster of the day, Ayu.
Thank you, Amanda. I love the smell of citronella. For your information, Amanda didn't ask me, so I just tell. Well, I just want to have one sponsor announcement for all of you who never see or visit our Instagram, which is organized by our PPPR Federico. Please visit, have a look, visit sometimes, and probably follow. He is doing a very good job. Next is our evaluation session. Will be led by our general evaluator, which is Nizar Hader. Sir, screen is yours.
Thank you, Ayu. I'd like to start immediately with our lovely evaluator. So I start with the first evaluator for today, our friend Ram Natuki, evaluating the speech of Robin. Over to you, dear Ram.
Thank you very much, Nizar. It's my pleasure to evaluate Robin's speech today. So he's actually given this speech before, and he's incorporated the evaluation before to give the speech again. So I'll give some commendations and recommendations, and I'll divide my evaluation in two parts: content and delivery. So first, let's start with content. So I think in terms of content, it was a very rich speech, lots of very interesting content. I like the use of his slides. I thought they really added. I like the fact he's had the split screen of him and the slides, rather than having the slides and only a tiny picture of him. I thought that worked really well. And I think he had a really good introduction with the title, feeling like, and then dash, dash, dash. And then he said it was crab. And I thought that was quite interesting. So I thought the whole introduction was quite engaging and got us into the topic, introduced us to the topic quite well. And I think he also, at the end, at the conclusion, he called back to the title of the speech, and then that, which was really well done. And he also gave us the main point about you're not alone, and that there's a lot of resources for you, so you don't have to feel bad. So I thought that was really well done. And yeah, and I think the other thing I really liked was he used that analogy with the crab throughout the speech, and that was very well done. I thought that was really engaging. It's rather than just saying it in words, he kind of put everything to the crab. I love the use of king crab, rock crab to go to experienced Toastmasters and so on. So I thought that was very well done. In terms of delivery, I think he did a very nice job of delivery. He was smiling. He seemed to be enjoying himself. He had a good pace, good vocal variety. So I really enjoyed listening to him. And I loved his use of humor. I think he peppered his whole speech with humor, and he was smiling. So comparing, for example, the Toastmasters to different kinds of crabs. So I thought that was, again, very well done and really engaging. In terms of recommendations, first, in terms of structure, I thought the speech had good structure. The only thing I would say is in the main body of the speech, I thought he could have had maybe a bit more structure because he explained the point that you're not alone, maybe just to have a step-by-step fact. Here you're feeling a bit maybe sad and alone, and then here's a step-by-step process of how you can overcome it, and then you can then have the conclusion. But you know, really, but I think overall it was really well done. And in terms of delivery, he delivered it very well. The one thing I could suggest is he gave pauses. It's really useful to have a pause. When you finish the introduction, have a pause. And so you can have a pause when you're finished a point, just so give us time to soak what you've taken in. And so, but again, it's a fairly minor point. And yeah, I think that's the, and I'll give him one challenge for Robin. And that is even to, I think you're quite enthusiastic, even at some point, just completely go from very high to start whispering even. I think that also is very helpful. But overall, I thought it was a really good speech. And if you compared to the recommendation you got last time, he implemented them. One of the recommendations was to use the analogy of the crab throughout the speech, and he did that. And he also didn't use notes. I think that recommendation was notes. I thought he really did, looked at it, had good eye contact, and really did the speech well. So I really enjoyed the speech, Robin.
Wow. I'm trying to keep up with IU energy. Thank you very much, Ram. Okay, now it's the time for our king crab for today, Vicky Ferrero, evaluating Yasmin. Over to you, Vicky.
Thank you, General Evaluator Nizar. I thought you were the crab. I was teasing Nizar in the inbox. I said, so you are the crab, Nizar. Anyway, let's go back to the evaluation. Sorry. The evaluation of Yasmin, question and answer. Yasmin, let me start with the things that I really liked about your presentation. It was well explained. We all wanted to know the difference between motivation and determination. A very good PowerPoint presentation. I like that. You were confident. You actually sounded like an expert. I felt like I was in a behavioral psychologist conference where somebody was explaining to me, you know, it was a bit technical, motivation and determination. Well done. And I really liked the topic. You were very clear in your language. You had audience engagement. That was awesome. Now, I think you'll be, because you're an advanced speaker, you'll be more interested on points for improvement. The Toastmaster of the Day actually should have introduced your project rather than you telling people, hey, you know, I'm going to have a question and answer, and you know, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. And so I thought that it sort of, you know, gave a different angle to how you could have presented it. That's number one. What was the purpose of your pen? It was distracting because I thought that you will always, I think she's going to be writing something because she's holding the pen. So I was just looking at the pen when you were going to write. I think it was really necessary. Pen was unnecessary. Did you actually arrange with the volunteers to ask questions? Because at the time there were hardly anyone who wanted to ask questions. Maybe they were not prepared. Maybe they didn't really have an idea what to ask. I felt that you should have prepared for that. And I wanted more gestures, hand gestures, right? You were focused more on the presentation. But my challenge for you would be moderate a panel discussion. I think you will really be very good at that. Or be a panel discussion speaker. Yasmin, you have again amazed me, and I hope that you will move towards greater heights. Keep improving. All the best to you. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Wow. Thank you very much, Vicky. I think Vicky and Ram did a great job in terms of going the structure of evaluating, highlighting the exceptional and good things, going back into the areas that they are challenging the speaker to take it to the next level for their coming speeches. I have a small advice for Ram. If, I would say pay attention to your eye contact, because sometimes, because it's a Zoom meeting, you know, just pay attention to the camera. I felt somehow that was missing. Other than that, both of you were a good example of how a very good evaluation should be. Should we hear from our other role players, starting with our grammarian of today, going to hear from Michelle?
Thank you very much. I just realized trying to be grammarian before coffee gets insane. Not a very good idea. I was struggling to catch gems and germs, good points and areas for improvement. Not too many. Probably late in the afternoon for me, then I could capture more. Nonetheless, here's some attempts I made. I loved Rico's use of language to have very laid-back humor. I don't know if anybody else caught it when he said flip-flops are nice too. And when he mentioned his mom as a soldier, I was thinking, I don't know, Federico, you can nod if my understanding of that statement about the flip-flops is that it can be used to enforce external motivation, maybe. And wow, Rebecca, you had such great language. I was trying to scribble, not too effectively. I think I captured when you defined or described coffee, the aroma of coffee as rich, bold, earthy smell. Wow. I just longed all the more for coffee. And still, Rebecca, when you were describing most miserable, I could feel how miserable it was. And take stock of my coffee. I don't know if you actually said that, but I thought I heard you say. So great word use. Vicky, I loved when you said move towards greater heights. Instead of just saying continue improving, which sounds so mundane, you said move towards greater heights. And Robin, I think your use of the crabs, the king crab and the seasoned crabs and the normal crabs, well, that won't ever go away. That will stick in my use of the word of the day. And again, this was without coffee yet, without enough coffee. Only think Tiger, he used it in the chat once. And then I think Shilpa once, I did once, Yasmin once, and Amanda once. But maybe if others did use it, I probably didn't catch it. Yasmin, I love the autonomy, mastery, and purpose. I love that. And the way that you described it. There were so many word usage in Yasmin's speech, but as I said, coffee wasn't sinking in there. I'm blaming the coffee. And just to share my favorite coffee passage, it says, I drink coffee for your protection. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you very much, Michelle. And let's hear from Amy as an counter for today. Over to you, Amy.
Thank you, Nizar. We had very clean speeches today. There was minimal amount of filler words. There was a few repeating of words that seemed to come up a little more often, where people would double up on the same word. I had Shilpa, I had a repeat. Ram, I had a repeat, and I had two erms. Nizar, I had an and an and Rebecca, I had a and an a. Ayu, I had a repeat. Robin, a repeat. Vicky, I got a and an which were fillers. Yasmin, which is really remarkable for how long you were speaking for, I got one and one repeat word. It's pretty impressive. Federico, just an Melva, I got a little repeat word and an and Mariana, a repeat and 2 likes. But overall, that I was being thorough. That was a pretty great speak. Well, apart from me, I'm getting them all in now. I'm getting all the little. I'm going to stop speaking now and hand it back over. Thank you, Nazar.
Thank you very much, Amy. Before over to our timer for today, I'll hand out my report as a general evaluator. And every RSS meeting is an exceptional meeting in all means. I heard one time something. The way things started give us an indicator how it's going to end. Our Sergeant at Arms, Alice, you started the meeting with a very positive energy and you used your talent. And I think every meeting we should have you as a Sergeant at Arms. Ayu, she took she built on your positive energy, built on Alice's positive energy. And when Ayu is a Toastmaster of the day, I felt an ease. I know the whole meeting will be positive. Ayu, she is a person who is controlling the room. I know when Ayu is a Toastmaster of the day, every speaker ends, Ayu will take a comment. Such as, for example, she noticed Shilpa waving her hand after Yasmin's speech and she didn't make it pass. She said, well, Shilpa has a point to make and she wants to ask a question. She made, Ayu, you made an engaging comment. For example, after Robin's speech, when you said, this crab wants to speak. So you kept us engaged. What I would advise Ayu next time, for example, the theme is we are what we think we are. So I would love to hear more from Ayu, a little bit, maybe a 1 to 2 minutes story about the theme, a question from the audience about the theme. This is all about the Toastmaster of the day. Very well done. The speakers did amazing and the evaluators have done their part in that. Our table topic for today, Amanda, this is a brilliant idea of bringing the smell to our memories. I like it, and I like how you engage the audience and you, for example, trigger the guests to participate and encouraging them. One advice I would say, maybe to give a brief, a 1 to 2 minutes brief explaining, maybe I missed it, I didn't hear it, explaining the rule of the table topic and reassuring the timing that Shilpa was explaining before, that the table topic is from 1 to 2 minutes. It's an impromptu speech, you will receive a questions, etc., etc. Other than that, you were great. The idea is a unique idea of bringing the smells versus memories. I like it very much. Other than that, I think before handing over to the timer, Michelle and Amy did also an amazing job in their reports, and this is my report as a general evaluator for today. Let's hear from our timer.
Thank you, Nizar. We had great timings from everyone today. Our speakers, Robin was at 6:59, Yasmin right on point with 1934. Table topics were Chris, Federico 158, Marina 216, Rebecca a little bit on the edge at 239, and Melba exactly at 152. The evaluators performed well. Ram at 338, Mike Beacon shortened it a little bit, and Vicky very crisp at 249. Back to you, Ayu.
Thank you everyone. Thank you, Nizar. It's actually a brilliant idea to put timer at the end after you speak. Thank you for that, Nizar.
I wanted to hand over back to Ayu, but
okay, so that is, thank you, Nizar. I have some announcement here. First is about the speech contest. Our first week of November will be some training or education session about table topic. And the second week will be education about how to do speech evaluation. This is to give all members something to, so they know, they understand and prepare toward our speech contest, which will be in the 3rd week and the 4th week of November. Will be led by Silpa as contest chair. So probably some of you will be contacted by Silpa, and whoever wants to go for speech contest, go ahead. Only one thing you need to do, complete your level 2. That's all. And then I would like to have another announcement, which is we got the one level 2 toward our DCP from Sarah just before she didn't renew. So yes, on behalf of all of us, I say thank you to her. And then she actually has something for us, just in case any of you need a slot to speak or a keynote speak, or you need to do a project on your pathways. At 22 Barcelona, Sarah Club needs speaker, open a slot for speaker. So just contact Sarah if you need any project done. And then the third one is, I would like to say, Melva, welcome to Roseburg Speaker and Storyteller. And you are now officially a member of Toastmasters International, enrolled pathways also too. What is your pathway, Melva?
Innovation planning, I think. My pathway, innovation planning.
There you go.
Thanks, Miss Ayu.
So another one is actually, this is October. We have Ram too. Welcome, Ram. We never induct you officially. This one today, everybody knows. And then the next one is, I would like to report that we, RSS, Roseburg Speaker and Storyteller, already reached 6 DCP points. So congratulations, Roseburg Speaker and Storytellers. Way to go. And last, I would like to encourage any of us, if you have an enrolled pathway, please enroll pathways. We love to hear your voice, your speech, your inspiration. Come on. And last, this is the last one and very important. We don't have our SAA anymore. So if anyone agree, if Alice will be our SAA, please raise your hand if you agree. I will let our president to say something on that, but at least you know, Alice, everyone agree that if you step in as our SAA. Let's make it official when the leadership team talk about that, or maybe our Tiger will say something. So by that, I would like to stop and say something about the theme of the day. We are what we think. I always, when I'm down, I always see that. I always chant this sentence in my mouth. Are you, you are what you think. Are you, you are what you think. And I see the benefit in me. When I'm thinking I'm good, then I have to be good. When I'm thinking I'm kind, that I have to be kind. If I'm thinking this is my way, then I follow that way. Just go with my instinct, with my thoughts. That is my motivation, and my determination now is to share it across the globe, over and over again, and learn to share it here with Toastmasters, how to share it good, how to share it effectively. Thank you. Back to the control back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you, IU. I'll tell you this, the smell of coffee is my motivation to get out of bed. And without it, I am a crab. Wonderful meeting everybody. Absolutely amazing. We continue to outdo ourselves. It's so nice to see our guests. It's so nice to have Vicki back. And with that, please stick around. I would love to get some responses from our guests and of course our members. So I will officially adjourn this meeting. 1, 2, and 3.